come to the bold analysis. The harrowing details emerging on how this bizarre incident happened in Statehouse is not looking at the truth and someone is hiding the truth. Maybe you are wondering, what am I talking about? Can you imagine that a 50-year-old man was carrying a sack and he concealed a spear inside the sack, carried the sack and moved next close to the State House and attacked one of the security guards that normally protect Get D. And in that attack, it happened moments before the president left State House heading to Kambani. And now things seem to have changed, and now tension has emerged there. In this podcast, I'm going to look at what probably the State House team are not telling the country. There is more than what meets the eye in this incident. I still want to ask you kindly, subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our videos. And today, I want to appeal to Team Kenya. Look at our subscribers. We have Team Kenya, especially my people between 40 to 65, 40 and above, okay, 40 to 69. I have quite a number of viewers in that age bracket, and I realized that they are the majority of the returning viewers. I've realized that you guys, you've not subscribed, quite a number of you. Yes, I have quite a number there, so click that subscription button there, come and sign in, so that you'll get our podcast whenever we publish them. And it is a day tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. The surgery for Mzee Peter Osero has been scheduled. And this is the appeal we've been running in this podcast. Mzee called me last week in distress after he realized that he had blood discharge in his urine. Alikuwa anakojoa damu, in other words. I personally made initiative. He was rushed to Kisii Hospital. Several tests were done and the doctors established that Mzee Peter, who is actually from Kisii and is a pastor, had his left kidney is why he had a problem. Was actually, they have done the test that done recently, the one that they've done imejaa with damu, amaji. And so that left kidney is the one that had a problem. I decided to get the second opinion, because this was a very sensitive matter. Looking at when I was told at his age that he was going for that surgery, we brought him here in Nairobi and booked him, and the tests that were done affirmed what was said in Kisii. And so because this procedure is very urgent, we scheduled it for tomorrow. And that is why I am reaching out to you, that guys, partner with us so that we can help support Mzee in this procedure. While he was in Kisii, I paid the SHA and all that was covered, but it cannot cover in terms of a surgery. And also it's also good to understand that SHA will not cover your full surgery, that critical help. They're covering part. Now there is a bill that is remaining that is supposed to be paid just to top up in the tune of around 230,000. That is what exactly as we are coming in to support, so that akifanyiwa kesho will have to pay that money so that he can be discharged after he's going to be stable. And that's why I'm reaching out to you. I started this appeal yesterday. I'm already talking, as the time I already have 103,000. So my deficit is around 127,000. I believe, I trust, I know that when we come together, we've always come together to support others. In this side, we'll stand together as we also put Mzee in prayer. Kesho, your surgery fanyike, And I just hope that by the time imeisha, we have that money, we top up, tumlipie akwe stable, atolewe. Hata ikiwezekana tumbebe na ndege aende hadi Kisumu, ndiye atoke Kisumu aende nyumbani, sababu sasa after operation haizi kaa kwa gari hadi huko. We can do it, and it will really be my joy if we come together for this. Kidogo kidogo hujeza kibaba.
Hata mimi unanichukua.
Hapana. Tuna hepa.
Niko na wewe.
Ile kufanya nini?
Ujizi unafanya? Tajua tu. Wacha tuende hospitali kwanza.
Anapeleka wapi?
Anaenda hospitali.
We can do it. Na kuna pesa kidogo. By the way, whatever we get, we always come together to support. I want you to read the details. I want to read the details of this assault on how this officer was killed. This is the story I'm reading. If you can go and check Kenyan's GSU officer guarding Statehouse killed in mysterious spear attack. Something is amiss. But I want you to get it. That the assailant reportedly used a spear to attack an officer in an assault which took place outside Gate B, Statehouse. Now this is how it happened. Maybe get to listen to this part. The attack took place in a considered clearing zone for motorists and pedestrians before proceeding into Statehouse, either via car or by foot. Now, mostly, unaona these delegations from whichever county, from all counties, the leaders or any other visitor getting to Statehouse, that is the civilian route, Gate D. So kama ushaenda Statehouse, ulitumia Gate D. That is where the clearance is done. Whether unaenda na gari, unaenda na pikipiki, ama unatembea. So I need you to capture that. So what happened? Now, one of the officers there is saying, the man approached, this gate was being manned by 3 officers. 3 officers. Also mark that. So there was a man who was looking like, allegedly was looking like a madman. Kama wale wandazimu. He was carrying like a sack. But inside that sack there was a spear. Very crude weapon. The man approached security officers posing as a member of street families. When they saw him coming, alikuwa anaonekana kama ni one of these street families there. Now, the man believed to be in his 30s was carrying a large sack where he had staffled the spear used to assault the officer. Now, remember there were 3. Now, 2 officers made a step. They were engaged inspecting. There was a car that was making its way to Statehouse. So while 2 officers were busy engaged inspecting the car getting to Statehouse, that allegedly street family, the guy that looked like a madman, removed his spear and attacked this officer. Remember there were 3. The other officer who was not engaged. The moment his colleagues realized, these other 2 who are busy realized that mmoja wao alikuwa amedungwa na hiyo spear, na hiyo mshale, they now descended on the assailant, but they did not kill him. They did not neutralize him because, of course, he was a mad person. So they decided just to arrest him so that he's subjected to some sort of interrogation. That officer was rushed to Kenyatta National Hospital but succumbed to the injuries. Now, one shocking twist around this is, by the time this was happening, it was some few minutes before the president's jet plane left Statehouse for an event in Machakos. So it happened when the president was in Statehouse. So a quick restructure of the security protocol was done, and the president evacuated quickly out of the Statehouse. Now, this is analysis that I asked. I've really tried. I asked one of a key security guy, not from Kenya though, a very good friend from Ethiopia, who has been a very strong supporter of this channel, but is much vast on the issues of security. And I'm going to share with you part of the things that he was worrying. It's called Harsi. Yes, I don't know the name, but it's Harshe. So this is part of what was his worries. Why is telling me, Kevin, on that incident, the first thing, the president has to be evacuated from the Statehouse. And don't expect him to go there. They will actually change so that a critical audit of all that will be done, and then Statehouse cleared safe for the president. So this was some of his worries. So you can also jog around, think around it. Statehouse is manned by President Ruto and his family. They're protected by over 200 officers. 200 officers. This is constitutional provision. Presidential escort unit and the other police units involved. Why would such a critical infrastructure like Statehouse be manned by 3 officers? I don't know. There were only 3 at the gate. So question is first 3. Because according to him, there should be a 360 approach for those who are manning security establishments. For those who are manning such critical establishments. Because ukiwa hapa inamaanisha tunaangalia that one direction. Even if like he says, Statehouse is not a mall. Why are you only checking magari zinaingia? You check throughout. That is one worry. The second thing is this. How did a stranger with a crude weapon come near Statehouse, and even if he's still far, the security officers here could not scan, like they could not scan the person and realize that probably this is a dangerous person. Lakini wanasema aliinama kwa maua fulani. So hakuwa anaona kama ni mtu ako serious. Even though, can I tell you something? When that person was interrogated, let me show you something here. When he was interrogated, alisema kwamba ametumwa na shetani. Ametumwa na shetani. And in another, sijui ni shetani gani. That is it. So how about that they should be able to scan even 100 meters from where they are. Wajua yule naye mali yako amebeba hii na hii na hii. They were supposed to make the first move. Even if the fact that he was someone from state family does not mean that he should not be scanned. And according to him, the street family, the mad person issue comes up as part of a cover-up. This could not be a mad person, maybe. Or someone created that character so that even if he does that, he will not be killed. Why has State not issued any statement? Why has Statehouse not issued any statement? Maybe it's too early. But there is a trend here, and this is one of the worries that should come. Some observation is making. that you will understand within the police circle, security circle, that officers manning critical establishments like airports, Statehouse, the residences, these ones that are the periphery of establishments are at high risk, and they're the ones that are being gunned down. Hata usiende mali. Unaona, on Saturday, less than 24 hours, another GSU officer manning JKIA perimeter was also killed in a city hotel along Mombasa Road after what is reported as an altercation. So within 24 hours, we've lost 2 GSU officers, and something identical about both of them, Niwote, they're manning critical infrastructure. The other guy who died on Saturday, was killed on Saturday, was actually manning perimeter wall at JKA. Now this one was also manning entrance at Statehouse. I'm not saying they're related, but I'm bringing that so that you see the high risk, you see that trend. Now, when the president was evacuated, he was urgently flown to Kambani. And I listened to a speech because I followed that speech because I wanted to find out maybe some changes, security protocol or something that had changed. And he sounded someone that is not very happy. Even though it is the routine speech of attacking Gachagua, but it sounded very angry, or someone who is a bit disturbed. He was speaking looking disturbed. And if you look at the body language here, you can see that the president was not looking very comfortable.
Yes. We must ask ourselves, what did Korea, sasa, just imagine, watu tulikuwa sawa 1963, saa hii tunaenda kwao kukopa pesa. Just imagine. Iko shida ama hakuna shida hii Kenya? Please, tafadhali nawaomba Wakenya wenzangu, tukubaliane, tubadilishe hii nchi. Tuache siasa ndogo ambaye haitusaidii. Siasa ya ukabila, siasa ya chuki, siasa ya kugawanya watu, siasa hiyo. Watu wengi hawa ambao wanazurura kutusumbua, wanatusumbua kwa maduka huko, wanaongea mambo ya ovyo. Hakuna kitu wanaongea. You know? Ama namna gani? So, tafadhali, mimi nawaomba, viongozi sisi wote, tuamini Mungu, na tujiamini wenyewe, na tuamini taifa letu la Kenya. Tunaweza kuibadilisha hii taifa, sisi wote tukiweko. Sijui kama tunaelewana jameni. Hakuna haja hii ugomvi kidogo kidogo. Kama wewe ni kiongozi, na uko na sera na mpango tofauti bora kuliko hii yetu, tueleze. Usiseme ati mpango yako ni kuja kuondoa affordable housing. Sasa hiyo ni ujinga. You know, think, if William Ruto wants to do a million house or 3 million, don't tell us you are going to bring down what William Ruto is doing. That is stupidity. Ama namna gani jameni? Na sitaki kusema sana mambo hii ya siasa, lakini leo tumekuja hapa kwa hiyo mpango. And that is why I must tell you that we want to pull together. Uliza viongozi wote.
But this is it. What do I see? What do I see in this incident? Number one, I am not buying this story of someone ambayo ni chokora. I'm not buying that story. That looks like a targeted killing, like targeted murder. The issue of someone looking like a madman could be staged. Maybe so that wanajua, maybe kwa sababu kana mwende wazimu, maybe hata uawa, atashikwa. So they didn't neutralize him. And ordinarily what ought to have happened ni kwamba huyo mtu angeuawa on the spot. That is what will be of course it's not the right thing, but that will be the most probable reaction. But mtu atakwambia kwamba wale ambao wanalinda State House watakangi kuua. It's not their thing. Since there's some four possibilities going on here, and the president must be very careful on this. I'm not saying it's this, but it could be one of this. 1, 2, 3, or all. Someone infiltrated the State House security protocol. And this is what should worry, and I think this is what should worry President Ruto. I understand a crisis meeting of the security establishments rushed to State House. Immediately this incident happened. All the military ranks and the security ranks all camped in State House for a very high crisis meeting. And you can see it is because of that when the president was in Ukambani, he was received by DIG Langat. This is the highest rank after Kanja. And the reason why the security infrastructure rank in the country must audit this incident and don't look at it casually is because of that aspect of infiltration of the protocol at State House. Something is amiss. Did this person know there are 3 people? How about that timing? They must find out, is this a trained person? Or really just, because even that mishale, you cannot just rusha it target upige mtu, mpaka iwe mtu, if you're just some casual Kenyan there. So the security, they must really look at it in the manner that is not going right. And leaders have so many enemies. The other issue what the security team, in the aspect they must also look at, is the political meetings in State House. I raised this in my previous podcasts, and we questioned that State House, yes, is a public property. Ni mali ya Wakenya. But of course, it is a very sensitive area that where we receive dignitaries. But it was so bad that we had changed it as a political ground for president to do his campaigns. And that was a blunder. Now you need to remember at this point, unaona hii get B, as I mentioned to you, the people who go to meet presidents on political engagements, even these youths who went to State House, how when you lienda juzi kinamoshwa nawa, be it most of civilians going there, either by foot, car, or pedestrians, car, or motorbikes, they used gate D. Now it is that gate that was exposed. So it's also clear that there is a bit of exposure. I've always said, you know, I want you to imagine State House. I want to imagine what kind of, who is safe? You know, things we always ask. The other day, an MP is gunned down in a city roundabout. Some other time, a lawyer is waylaid on the highway. Then the other minute, a police GSU attached JKIA, you know, beaten and killed in a city hotel. And before you know it, a GSU officer attached to the president, killed in State House gate. Really? Really? This is something that they must look at. The other theory I look at here, and that the security ranks around State House must actually not ignore, is the issue of, was this a targeted elimination? Is it a targeted elimination? What brings elimination? What triggers elimination in most of these questions? Number one is scandal cover-up. You stole this, I saw you, probably have the footage, I have the evidence. You see, this is andani too. One of them is that. The second one is interpersonal conflicts. Maybe you find with your spouse or who, because these are also human beings. Huyu nimekupata na huyu na huyu na huyu. And this is not something that can be taken casually, because really this is bad news. It is a very bad news for the country. So they must look at it. Was it well planned? It is very right that the security personnel at the gate, they found it, they didn't neutralize that assailant. He is going to be interrogated. And I wish he's interrogated so that they use it to audit the security structure at Statehouse. Lastly, my friend asked me a question, and you can also help me ask this. How about if someone is running a security drill just to test the security team reaction at Statehouse? It is not something that what has happened is not, should not have happened in a well-protected establishment like Statehouse. And is our president safe? This is the most protected man in the country. Really, I always say here, sometimes, I did some analysis sometime and I said, we got to be serious as a country. There's so many things that we must get very serious. And in the recent past, there have been so there have such assassinations. I remember when the president was the deputy, the killings in government establishments, even though they never investigated to the end. But they are very suspicious in the manner in which they happen, and especially the fact that they happen on government establishments. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you.